Hello. How you doing, Graham? You alright, mate?
Yes, fine. Can you speak for a moment?
Yeah, I can speak for a minute, man. Just fucking... oh, mate, every time I've been through this... all of these screenshots and all of this stuff so much, it's just giving me the fucking hump, man.
No, I can tell it's...
Oh, it is. It's fucking... It's making me just want to go to Downing Street and fucking just scream my fucking head off, Graham. Seriously, because... you know, how much has a person got to fucking go through? I've got more than enough evidence there. More than enough to put them cunts to sleep. There's more than enough there. You know,
Listen,
you got...
I wanted to ask you the question. Because I think the sensible place to start is you've got to claim against the... You've got to claim against News Group.
Yeah, but that's all got to start again, Graham, because of Mallet.
No, listen, but... Yeah, I know that. And I think you've got to claim against the Mirror as well.
Okay, what makes you say...
I'm sure you will have been targeted by the Sun as well.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
At the moment, we are getting a lot of disclosure around the Sun.
Yeah.
Good news. Now, I wanted to ask you, who told you that your claim was time barred?
Who told me?
Yeah.
Well, that was just the understanding that I took from the court. When you say time barred, are you talking about the limitation?
Yes.
Yeah, I was in the courtroom, and I mean, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't fully understand. Yeah, but from what I could tell, we amended the claim.
Yeah.
And the amount on the claim now was made unlimited.
Yeah.
And then there was a problem with the 2002 evidence. And then there was someone got on the phone and called Lord Grabiner. Grabiner come back to Linklaters and said, well, call limitation, as I understand it.
So Linklaters were working for the News of the World?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I mean, so, see, what in the early days of phone hacking claims, which is 2012, 2010, 11, 12, the News of the World dismissed a lot of claims wrongfully by convincing people like yourself that they were time barred. It got over the 6 years.
Yeah.
And it's not true, and we know that's not true, because since then we've managed to open up lots of cases which they wrote off. Now, when did you first find out that you'd been hacked? What year?
It was 2012. It was when Richard Mallet called me. It was the 24th of the 4th, 12. The date that I signed the first agreement there with Mallet.
Yeah. Okay. So that means you've got 6 years
from that
when
time.
You
Yeah.
Found out.
Yeah.
So you'll be timed out in April next year.
Yeah,
April 2000. So we've still got time.
But that's on the civil claim. I mean, my mind started to go. You know what? Fuck the civil claim, because there's no limitation on criminal.
Yeah. So the way we're playing at the moment is that we are trying to launch as many civil cases as we can.
Yeah.
In order to get disclosure.
Yeah.
So my view is that they're not the only notes from Glenn Mulcair's hacking. I think there's more.
With regards to me, yeah, I think Glenn gave it away. I think he mentioned something about 5 pages in his conversation to me round here.
So I will try and get them off Glenn. So that's point one.
I don't think Glenn's going to want to help me now.
Why not?
Well, because, I mean, he's come round here, and then he give me a load of chat, and then he's gone away, and, you know, nothing... He come round, he give me a load of chat, he's come round here to... He knows I would have been recording, and he's come round to, you know, to see what it is that I've got for myself, so he can see how he can work the link between him and Mazza, and to see if I definitely do have something there, because there was no other reason for him to come round apart from that. Because
I think there was another reason. I think when he come round to you, he may have been seeing whether he could make some money, if you like.
Yeah, well, he's doing another book, isn't he? So.
Yeah. With the claims, and I don't think that's possible.
Well, I don't think he's really come round to help me. I mean, you know, let's face it. I mean, the geezer hacked me. He would have no reason to come round and stand in my face unless it was him protecting himself somehow, or like you say, he was going to earn a few quid out of it. Like,
listen, let's put that to one side. I think there's more stuff we can get off Glenn. I think you need a good hacking lawyer.
Yeah, no one wants to touch me, Graham. This is.
I'll help with that. And I think there's more disclosure you can get on Glenn from the Met and from News UK. I think you would have been targeted by other private detectives.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to try and get that disclosure.
How would you go about getting something like that, though?
Well, first of all, you restart your claim.
Yeah.
And I'll put you in touch with a very good lawyer who is very dogged and knows his way around this area.
Yeah.
Right. You get disclosure from them.
Yeah.
You know, from some key search words such as Brian Harvey, and then around all the dates of this, around we'll put all the names of all your associates in there.
Yeah.
Because they will have used other private detectives on you,
yeah,
such as JJ Services and Searchline and Andy Kyle and all these private detectives what they use, which aren't really well known to the public.
Yeah, because I've not heard any of them names that you said there. I mean, really, it was made out like it was all Glenn, but no way.
No, because that we know now that Glenn was only one part of because each private detective has a different strength.
Right.
And he was only one part of it.
Right.
I think that's the way to do it. And what it gets you is disclosure.
Yeah.
It gets you paperwork and evidence.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, right? And then that puts you in a stronger position to try and get your criminal case reopened.
Yeah.
However, I must tell you, you know this. I think there's a reluctance for the authorities to open the criminal case.
Of course, yeah, I know that.
Not just yours, everyone's.
Everyone's, yeah, be opening a matter. I mean, if they were going to that extent with me, I mean, they must have been doing much worse than that to other people. You know what I mean? I'm not anyone really of any importance. I think the only reason I was mainly being targeted anyway was probably because of my management at the time later on, you know? Because clearly Conrad and Jerry Brown and John Listeners and that whole Ian Cutler and that whole side of things there, I mean, everyone knew everyone, which is what now makes me suspicious of Mallet, because Mallet was representing Ronnie Biggs and Cutler said he was in the foreground of doing that story, and that Jerry knew the kidnappers, and John Listeners was also on it. So therefore, Richard Mallet would have clearly known who John Listeners and Jerry Brown. And so when Richard Mallet sat down with me in 2002, I find it strange now looking back that he didn't say to me, well, this Conrad Brown here that's been doing recordings of you, his father is a guy called Jerry, and I've got previous with him with the Ronnie Biggs kidnap plot.
Yeah.
So that also backs up, I feel, for me, what I'm saying, that Mallet already had a relationship there with the News of the World, and that continued after my court case, because Mallet clearly didn't do all that he could after the not guilty. There was loads more that he could have done. I was never compensated for being wrongfully imprisoned, being imprisoned on evidence that I was later found not guilty on. Do you see what I'm saying? There was loads that he could have been doing afterwards, and it was just not guilty, gone. And I noticed now, looking back, that the judge that was presiding over the case, it was a county court, a circuit judge from Cambridge, round the corner from Wisbeach office, where Richard Mallet come from. So there's been some moves pulled on my. I mean, although I did get the right result, but there's something going on now with I mean, how is Mallet able to pull a judge in from Cambridge to preside over my case? Because he clearly knows him.
I don't know whether he did. We'll have to look into it, but...
And then Mallet, he's a paedophile protector, I'm telling you now, right? Because that judge, when you do a Google search on him, he comes up as a judge that goes lenient on sex offenders. And I remember Richard Mallet in 2002 sitting at my dining table in the barn conversion where I was living with Emma B, and him stating to me, you know that, he said to me, you know, convicted paedophiles see more of their children than you do. Referring to my, you know, my kind of my divorce battle and everything that was going on with Tash at the time.
Yeah.
So you kind of put two and two together. He's clearly got some history with paedophiles, Mallet.
Yeah.
Clearly, and that judge is dodge as well. I mean, although although he gave the right verdict, I'm still. It's convinced me that, you know, justice ain't justice. When a group of people get together and say this is what's going to be, I'm already of the belief that that's how this thing runs, and justice has got nothing to do with it.
However, you cannot fight a war on all fronts. You've got to. In my view, you've got to choose which battle you're going to fight first, right? And my view is that you should go for, you should reignite your claim and get some paperwork off the News of the World to find out exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Because, so for instance, on the Mallet situation, you can ask them for any correspondence which isn't privileged.
Yeah.
Between Mallet and their lawyers, and you can ask them for emails between the various reporters and photographers.
Well, I think we asked for all that back then, didn't we? I mean, that's what there's a document there that I sent you where Mallet asked for all of that, didn't he? Any correspondence and what do they call it? Non-sensitive material.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had a list of all of that. We had all of that. I have sent that list to you, I think.
Yeah, but I haven't seen any good emails in there. I haven't seen any smoking gun correspondence.
Well, I think the email from Kellaway to DS Werrett, saying that he's transcribing on the same date as the Mulcair note is that's a massive piece of evidence, and if it's not, why was it held back from me?
No, I think you're right. I think you're right on that. But what I want to find out is if there are any emails internally where they talk about phone hacking and they talk about
that would have all been deleted, Graham. That's
no, not necessarily. We've managed to get a lot of this stuff in disclosure.
I just reckon in regards to me,
yeah.
Because the news of the world clearly knew what they was doing with me.
Yeah.
I mean, Mallet even references to it in that summing up. He's, you know, Rebecca Wade don't want to be called to court, so she knew all about what was going on with my case, and therefore she did know about phone hacking. She did. And then Mallet, you know, you say to me, well, you know, what makes you think it's phone tapping? Well, Mallet was, at least from what I can gather, half on my side back then, and I'm pretty sure he knows what he's doing of, so why is he referencing to actual phone tapping? You know, and then after that, the case, boom, you're out. Not guilty. Go on, fuck off, Brian. But there's no reporters outside reporting on it. Nothing. Just pure, you know, just fuck him off, get him out of the way. That's all it was.
Listen, you're right. You may have been phone tapped.
I was phone tapped. I know I was.
We'll find out.
And it was because, and it wasn't because of me. I'm not self-important that I think, you know, I'm not fucking someone worth listening to, mate. All I would have been talking about is smoking a bit of weed and fucking what songs we making and what, you know, when we go in studio. So it was more about the connection to the people that were managing me, because Zorba gives it away when you look at a part of the transcript. He's asking me, oh, you know, can you put me in a video? He's been sitting down with a serious organised crime department and looking at the Wyclef video that I'd done that's got Joey Pyle, Dave Courtney and everyone else in the background. And that's what this was about. You know, I mean, the fact that they didn't like me anyway obviously didn't help me.
Who didn't like you?
But that whole news group, you know, the Sun, the News of the World, you know, Dominic Mohan, Victoria Newton, Piers Morgan in the beginning, Andy Coulson, who was the other geezer, the other one, I can't remember his name now, another Sun Bizarre columnist. But it's been an ongoing thing forever.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that Joey and them lot were managing me, they was interested in that. And Kellaway knew what he was going to do. I mean, you see the conversation that he records there between him and my wife. He knew about that power of arrest. He rung her to wind her up so she would make a formal complaint, knowing that power of arrest was outstanding. And that's the way that they've worked it. And then obviously to form a breach, and also to give me the only conviction that would stop me going to America and continuing with where I was, because I was actually, in Robert Kellaway's own words, he seems to be doing a bit better these days. Well, not anymore, thanks to you, you fucking cunt. Right? So, I mean, it's all there. You know, and they knew about my state of mind. You can see...
Yeah, because do you think...
It's abuse, mate.
They manipulated you.
It's absolute abuse, this is.
Into talking and...
Yeah, of course that's what they've done. They've cut in now halfway through the conversation. The only reason I went to meet that guy was because my mate told me this cunt wanted to give me a statement. Before that, I didn't even know this bloke was, Graham. Zorba.
Yeah.
So Reeves tells me, I've got this geezer, he's in the Fairways pub, mate. I can remember it as clear as day. I fell out with Reeves, like, over the past few years because I've said to him, mate, you bought this geezer to me. What do you mean you can't remember this and you can't remember that? Fucking come round here.
And what does he say?
He wouldn't come round. This is my mate who I've known since I was fucking 9. He wouldn't come round, and he's dead now.
So Zorba
already knew. Zorba already knew.
You to come to the meeting.
Yes, this has all been formed by them. I've not, you know, if you believe...
When you get to the meeting, how does Zorba end up with the chat on tape and the gear?
What do you mean? What chat on tape?
So
he's been given a wallet recorder,
yeah,
or some device, because we drive away and then they say something about they couldn't pick it up anymore. So there's some fucking wireless device that they was using that Zorba had to point at me in the car. But that's just on the car telephone conversation.
Okay, just stop there. In a nutshell, right, did you hand over anything to them?
What, to Zorba?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave him £100 and a camera.
And
yeah.
Do you think that...
And I admitted that. I've said that I gave him that because he talks me into this idea. Listen, he's the one that come up with, I can get you a picture of her sniffing gear. And I said, well, listen, mate, do you know what I mean? If that comes through my door, right? I weren't talking him out of it. I weren't talking him into it. This was
you were just listening to him.
This is his fucking idea, and I thought, if this cunt's stupid enough to do that and put a thing through my door, so be it. Then I'll take it to court. But as it happens, mate, I'm here because you've told my mate you'd give me a statement, right? And then when I mention that to him, see, this ain't fucking recorded. This is the problem, Graham. That's not recorded.
Right.
Convenient.
We know that they do that for lots of different reasons. Now, when they said to you, listen, you gave us half a gram or a gram of coke to plant on air. What did you say to them then? Did the News of the World ever front you up?
No.
The story went in?
No. Kellaway left a message on my mobile that conveniently ain't showing up on fucking Molecare notes. Or has been redacted for that reason.
Okay, so when did you first find out that you were going in the News of the World? Was it the day that it went in, when you seen it in the paper, or was it the night before?
I'm not 100% on that. Let me think. There was a time, because there's a conversation there when I find something out to do with the newspapers. There's a conversation, and Kellaway records it, I think. Have a look at the conversation.
Yeah, okay.
Right, and then there's something in that have a read of it, because I say to him, I wonder why you had a thing. right? You read it, and that's because...
Why you had a thing? What do you mean?
I wondered why you had a thing, because I'm clocking a fucking thing in his hand. I'm looking at what he's wearing. He's wearing a flimsy T-shirt. I thought, well, no, he ain't wearing a wire, right? And he had a pair of, like, trousers on, I think, and shoes. Looked like he was going out on a light casual one. And all he had in his hand was a little brown wallet. And I looked at that and thought, well, that makes sense that he's holding that wallet, because he's not really got anything on him big pocket-wise, and he's just stepped into the motor, and he's got no bag with him. He's quite lightly dressed, but he's going out. And I'm looking at this brown thing in his hand thinking, that's something. If he's got something on him, or he's trying to stitch me up or record me or something, that thing was in his hand. And when you read the comment at the end of it, when I found out this cunt's gone to the paper, I say to him, I wondered why you had a fucking thing, and that's that thing in his hand.
Okay, now you know they accuse you of giving them a bit of gear.
Yeah.
Did they catch the handover on tape?
There ain't no handover on tape. All he's got is him probably picking up the money and the camera. I don't know what someone's been telling. What's that?
The gear comes from Zorba.
Well, it must have done, or either that or it's come from fucking Jack Chuddy, innit? Because why does this fucking so-called gear take a month to get to the old Bill, and then the old Bill are picking his thing up, all of a sudden this so-called fucking wrap's changed colour, it's changed weight 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, so it won't be Jack Chuddy.
Now, if I'd have given him coke...
It's gonna be someone. It's gonna be Jack.
Well, fucking Zorba's had it in his pocket then, isn't he? That's either that. Well, if Zorba has got something to do with fucking Mazza Mahmood, right? Like Peter Jukes is saying, he's referencing to. I'm sure I've got Kamal Zorba on file. Then there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And that's why Mazza's name probably doesn't come up in any of this. But even though he so closely and only works with Comrade Brown, who just happens to be recording me. The fucking gears come from Mazza. And if it ain't come from Mazza, it's come from fucking Chuddy. Because why send Stian Alexander all the way over to Chuddy?
Because that's the way you've got to do it. What you've got to do.
Why would they be using their people? Listen, no, what you got to do is, if you think you've caught someone like that, is you ring the fucking police and you have them nicked on the spot.
No.
If your setup is legitimate, you'd have the old Bill waiting in the background for it. You would. I would, if that was me doing it. I'd have the old Bill there, not fucking, you know what I mean, all this setup and fucking, yeah, we got this, we got that, and then fucking Chuddy's involved, and then old Bill will go in there a month later. What the fuck, Graham, man? You know, come on.
So, I think, if anyone stitch you up, right, it's gonna be Zorba.
What's the bloke? He's obviously, of course he is. He's the one who got paid 15 grand.
So, that's his motivation.
Yeah, that's his motivation. He's got the money, but he's part of Mazza's team, Peter Jukes is saying. And the papers have printed that I've hired some anonymous fucking hitman, when clearly, by his own admission, he's been a friend and seeing my fucking ex-wife behind my back for 3 years. He's talking about 1999. We're in April.
That's the story, the ex-girlfriend.
We're in April fucking April 26, 2002. This geezer's talking about being in my life since 1999 with Tash.
You know, at that time.
That's 3 years, Graham.
Okay, listen. What I'm going to do, I'm going to continue reading the stuff, right? And then I suggest, but it's completely down to you.
Yeah.
You have a word with, I'll suggest a good lawyer to you,
yeah.
Right? And then I suggest you have a chat with them.
Yeah, Graham, I'd love to, mate.
And then I'll support the lawyer in what information they need.
Yeah. Well, mate, if you do that, I appreciate it, Graham. But listen, man, I've just got to a point where I'm not holding my breath anymore, mate. You know, like I'll go through the motions with you. Of course I will. But I'm not holding my breath, man, because I'm being treated fucking differently in this industry to everyone else. I don't know whether you're seeing it or not, but I am.
Listen, I think you've been very badly treated.
Because I am not having what has fucking happened to me when I've sat here. They all thought I was some dim cunt. I'm not dim, Graham. Trust me, mate. I'm not. I know exactly what these fucking people have been up to.
No, I know that.
And who they're fucking connected to. This all goes back to Tom Watkins, my old manager. Why? Because of what I told you, Graham.
Yeah.
Right? This is what's really behind it. The fucking can of worms that no one wants to open. And when you look at the whole Harvey Weinstein thing and everything that's going on at the minute, and considering what I've been investigating in the past and where I've been and what I've been privy to, certain people are shitting themselves now. And I know that.
It's Tom Watkins.
Tom Watkins, yeah.
Did he touch up the people in his band?
He's abused someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've you know what I mean, we've spoken about it, but
what I'm saying, I know you told me that. Did he do it a lot, or was it just a one-off?
No, I'm hearing that he's done it a lot, and he's also sold his artists as well for money. So,
yeah,
you know, don't get me wrong, I ain't got anything against gay people. You know what I'm saying? I haven't, but this cunt, I fucking can't stand him.
It's clear that you're angry.
I am angry.
At probably about 20 or 30 people.
Yeah, who all know each other.
You know, who've been involved in this plot to destroy. And
Graham, you've got to ask yourself why, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I know it goes on. I know when you fall out of favour.
You know, like, you've got to ask yourself, why have I been targeted so heavily?
Brian, there are lots of people who are in your position who've either tried to make claims or have made claims and had them dismissed early on. But now, after years and years of pushing, those claims are being reopened. So, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
Well, I know you must feel like that.
Oh yeah, it's just how it feels. You know what I mean?
You sat out there angry. You know, listen. There's no doubt you have been turned over ruthlessly.
Yeah.
And you've been targeted and repeatedly targeted.
Yeah. All I want to do, Graham, mate, is just fucking be left alone. You know what I mean? It's forced me out of music. It's made me believe. Forget it. Doesn't matter if you sold 20 million. Just forget it. You've got to forget it. You've just got to leave it now and find something else. You know, that's why I started making music videos and, you know, trying to help other people out. You know, that's at least it's just keeping my mind active, you know. But if I can do something, it's like what I tried to go and help Bill Maloney, because of what's gone on in the background with my own thing now. It's fucking jarred me, mate. I can't get my head round it. I can't get my head round it. It's fucking broke me to know that shit has been going on around me so closely, you know, to someone that I know, and here I am knowing everything and I can't say a fucking word. On top of knowing I was phone tapped and targeted by the News of the World, amongst everything else, you know, fucking done with a knife or a machete or whatever the fuck that was, I don't know. There's things coming at me from all different angles, and I don't know who's coming from where. So I'm fighting everyone, Graham, because I can't trust anyone anymore.
Well, that's your prerogative, right? To fight, you know, whoever comes your way, right? But my view is that you've only got so much capacity and fight in you, and for the time being, we should concentrate on a battle we can win. And I think you've got a good claim against the News of the World, phone hacking, misuse of private information, and I think that investigation, what Rob Calloway and Stian Alexander did, I think it was entrapment.
Yeah.
And I think
for me to get a fucking random call off of a mate who ends up knowing this geezer, you know, and then years later my mate don't want to come round, he don't want to talk about it, you know, like we fell out, you know what I mean, for years, pretty much since Malik called me in 2012 up until just before he died. You know, that was my best mate. I fell out with him over all of this. And then he did come round just before he died, just before we went on holiday. And then I wake up one morning to, you know, Joanne coming out the shower crying. I'm like, what's the matter? And she said, it's Reese. I said, what? What's the matter? And she said, he's dead. I said, what do you mean he's dead? She said he died saving his daughter and they're on holiday in Spain. And now I've got to sit down reading his fucking name in these papers with no one listening and people like Peter Jukes hacked off covering up and fucking lying. Right, I'll tell you, Graham, I'm at my limit, mate.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna get a lawyer, right? And he will help us sort this out. And I'll continue to go over your stuff. And things might get a bit better for you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do appreciate it, Graham.
You don't have to appreciate it. That's
I do appreciate it, mate. I do.
And I think it'll work out. Because I think the advice you've had in the past hasn't been very good. But let me get on the case. And there's a lawyer called Damien McClinley.
Yeah.
He's one of the people who work with us, and I think this is a good case for him.
Yeah. Right, well, I'll leave it in your hands, Graham.
Okay. Let me sort it out, and I'll be in touch in the next couple of days.
All right, mate.
Bye.
All right, bye.